You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Welcome to the lounge, everybody. How y'all doing? Big ups to all of my ladies. I appreciate my subscribers. I appreciate my members, and I appreciate my viewers. So if this is your first time ever checking out any of my content, and you like the content, you like the message, the sermons that's being delivered to you, please do not exit without hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe, or you're even more than welcome to join the membership, which is only $3 a month. Those who join my membership, you will get discounts to certain things that I have, like I sell cable. My cable goes for $25 a month, but if you are a member, you pay $15. I also sell tumblers. I sell t-shirts. So all members will get a discount off of any of my products if they decide to actually purchase from me. So nevertheless, just want to share that with y'all. But again, I thank each and every one of y'all. The Succubus sermons has been doing really well. I'm noticing a lot of people gravitating towards that. So I'm pretty much going to be doing the Succubus series for a while, because I feel that is a message that is definitely being received very well. And let me also say this before I get into today's sermon. You know, I've had one or two sisters in the chat, in the community tab. I guess they speak about the succubus. They speak on similar situations involving soul ties, involving the succubus spirit. Now, even though I'm not one to toot my own horn, I will say this. If I've gotten any of my sermons based off of viewing other content creators who share the same similar philosophies, I will definitely give credit to where credit is due. But by no means am I ever going to take somebody else's content, finesse it, make it my own, and not give the next sister credit. So just keep in mind, for some of you content creators, some of you ladies out here who probably know other content creators who speak on succubus and things of that nature, keep in mind that just because I share similar ideas and concepts with other content creators, it does not mean that I am biting them. It does not mean that I got the idea or the philosophies from them and now I'm trying to remix it and make it my own. With all due respect, I'm not knocking what other sisters are doing, but anytime somebody comes to my channel and say, oh, you know, I'm glad you watched my channel and you were able to discuss this. No. Anything I do is off of my own merit. It's off of my own dome. I'm not going to take somebody else's content and remix it and finesse it and act like I was the one who came up with the idea. So I just want, for all my spiritually woke content creator sisters, do not think that I'm going to your channel and I'm listening to you talking about the succubus and all of a sudden I'm up to like I'm originated it. If you follow my Mocha's Cafe de Paris channel that I started back in 2017, before I started this channel specifically for the women, I've been talking about the succubus. I've been talking about STDs, sexually transmitted demons. I've been discussing all of that since 2017. Okay, so check my resume before anybody come in here and think that I'm borrowing somebody else's stuff because so happened they mentioned talked about syncubuses and spiritual soul ties. Again, a lot of us who are spiritually woke, we're going to have similar ideas. We're going to have similar philosophies. But by no means will I ever take credit from another content creator and make it my own if I know I got it from them. There's content creators who I watch, who I support, like Caramel Rail, just to name a few. And whenever I hear something from her, I'm always say, hey, I was at Caramel's channel, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. That's how I do, you feel me? But if you check my resume, I've been doing this. Not only that, keep in mind that I started off in ministry when I was in my early 20s. I was a pastor's assistant when my father had his own ministry going. So I'm not totally foreign to anything spiritual, whether teaching it or receiving it. I've been had this spiritual background before I even became a content creator in YouTube, in the YouTube streets. You get what I'm saying? So don't come to the middle of the movie, and if you wasn't there from the beginning when the movie started, and automatically want to assume based off of the part that you are encountering that there's something else to it, like, oh, she must have got this from so and so because sister so and so talks about this on her content, and content creator blah blah blah, she talks about the dark spirit and all that. Listen, it's a lot of spiritually woke sisters out here, okay? Everybody is not trying to bite or copy or finesse. You know, a lot of us got similar ideas, because I mean, I've been guilty of it. A couple of times I talked about stuff on my channel, and I went to other content creators and I heard them address similar things, and I'm like, I could have sworn I made that point. I could have sworn I was talking about that on my channel. And you know, because we all got similar ideas, women, we're so different, but then we're all the same. It's real easy to think that somebody is, you know, peeping in the bushes and listening to your content, and all of a sudden, you know, they're doing content acting like, you know, they didn't get it from you. But I had to check myself and say, now wait a minute, this sister probably just has a similar concept, a similar outlook like yours. So just because we have similar outlooks on things, ladies, don't think somebody got it from you, or somebody trying to take your spiritual philosophies and finesse it and remix it. All of us have a gift that we can bring and share to YouTube. There's enough knowledge to be shared. I think it's all of us got something we can contribute as women to these YouTube spaces. Whether if you want to contribute giving the tea, giving the latest celebrity gossip, if you want to contribute makeup tutorials, wig tutorials, if you want to contribute what I'm doing is spiritual philosophies on things. We all got something we can contribute. And if there's several spiritually woke sisters that's speaking on this, then I'm glad I am not the only woman, female content creator, that's out here addressing these things. So I'm not threatened by that. I'm inspired by it. So I just want to share that with y'all, because I had somebody in the comment section say, oh yeah, I thank you for finally speaking on the things I've been talking about. Something she said, and I'm like, no. I don't even know you as a content creator. I never even been to your space. Please don't think that because we speaking on similar spiritual philosophies and principles that somebody is, you know, taking any of your ideas and trying to make it their own. But I appreciate that. And maybe the sister didn't mean no harm, but that's one of my pet peeves. You got to realize I'm a Scorpio. Scorpios, we don't like for nobody to say that we're unoriginal, that we have to mimic or remix, you know, somebody else's creativity. That's not my style. That's not how I flow. Now, granted, some things I have gotten from other authors. I know they're like I forgot his name, something about Mac Major. He has great books that discusses the Incubus and Succubus spirit. Now, all of us who do content, we've all had to learn something from someone now. It'd be hypocritical to be like, oh, I ain't learned nothing from nobody. I know all of what I was talking about. We all learned something from someone. But my thing is, I'm going to give credit where it's due. especially if it's coming from another content creator, because a lot of us as content creators, we share subscribers. So I don't want none of my subscribers thinking because they listening to certain people and they're coming over here listening to me that Mocha is borrowing other people's content. No, absolutely not. Okay? In the words of Erykah Badu, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my sugar honey iced tea. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And let's get into today's sermon. Let's get to the content. Big ups to all my sisters that are spiritually woke and not spiritually broke. Appreciate you. When a child is created between the succubus and incubus. Yes. You know, I definitely want to be honest and say that there's probably 3 to every 8 households. No, I'll say less than that. More than that. It's probably 5 to every 7 households of outside children being created outside of marriage. Okay? And there's plenty of factors for that. It's unfortunate that there are so many children that are being conceived and created in chaos, in lust, in selfishness and greed. It's a lot of children being conceived through greed, being conceived through malicious means. A lot of children have not been conceived genuinely through love, through marriage, through a spiritual foundation. And because of that, there's so many children that are being deprived of healthy co-parenting between both parents, having the blessing of being raised under the same household by both parents who created the child together. A lot of children are not going to have the blessings, not going to experience the blessings of having a mother and a father who built a spiritual foundation through marriage, in which that child was created as a blessing based off of a spiritual union and spiritual foundation. A lot of children are not going to be able to experience that blessing because you have a lot of grown men and grown women out here who still do not respect the value of sex. They do not respect the gift of being monogamous. They do not respect the word of God. And because of that, there's going to be many children that are going to be created in chaotic situations. So getting into this, right, we all are very, very familiar with the chaos, the agent of chaos, as Melody would say, Marital, and his mistress, his concubine, his succubus, Arion air mattress. Now, as we know, you have a lot of married men out here who do not respect their wives. You have married men that do not respect their marriages. And most importantly, they do not respect the word of God, because as the word says, a man who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And despite all of that, you have a lot of these men that fail to lead. They lack leadership abilities, as in, how can you lead your family when you can't even lead your own self? How can you guide a family when you can't guide your own self? How can you trust your wife to look up to you and respect you when you're out here committing adultery with other women or another woman outside of your marital union? And it's the contradiction for me that you have these married men that want their wives and want their children to look up to them be obedient to them, and respect them as being the leaders. However, these are the very same type of men who do not allow God to lead them, that do not allow their own best judgment to lead them, but yet they want to be in charge of everything. Melody did the right thing, and even though I'm all for married men and married women, pushing through the hard times, the good times, being able to overcome the trials and tribulations, but it comes a point in which some people are just not worth holding on to. Some people are just not worth the fight. Some battles you're not going to win. It does not matter if you're a good woman or if you're a great man, if you're a faithful woman, a faithful man. Some battles you're just not going to overcome. And Melody respected God's spiritual discernment for her to move, because God already knew that Marital was not going to obey and respect the authority of his leadership, and he definitely was not going to respect Melody as his wife. Keep in mind, a man who's not led by God, he cannot lead anything. If he's a man and he's not allowing God to lead him, 9 times out of 10, the flesh is going to lead him. The lust is going to lead him. He's going to let anything of the world lead him, because guess what? Regardless of how educated or well together we think we have it, a lot of us don't have all the tools we need to be led unless God is leading us. First of all, what a lot of men have to realize is God did not put these men on this planet to disrespect and degrade women in the manner in which they have been doing so. God has appointed these men as leaders. Their role is to protect and to provide for their families. And the problem is many of these worldly individuals, because this does not apply for all men. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. I'm not saying your husband may have this issue, so don't get offended. Don't think I'm grouping all men in one box. But if the shoe fits, then wear it. Okay? With a French pedicure at that. Alright? But what I am saying is that you have a lot of men who have not humbled themselves to submit to God. And if you cannot submit to God, you're not going to submit to anything else, because God is the highest authority in your life. And if you're not willing to humble yourself and submit to God, guess what? You'll submit yourself to anything the enemy brings your way. As a man, if you don't submit to God, you will submit to your flesh. You will submit to your greed. You will submit to your selfishness. You're going to have to submit to something if you don't submit to God. And the problem is, a lot of these men, and I'm going to just say Marital, because I don't want to go on all men. Let me just ride on Marital's coattail. The problem with Marital is Marital has only submitted to Marital. Marital submits to his needs, his wants, his desires, and the very thing that he has submitted to is the very reason why all of his blessings has continued to block and have not manifested at this point, because he has not reached that place in life in which he has accepted God. The reason why I cannot grow, I cannot elevate, I cannot get ahead, because I won't humble myself to you. I won't submit myself as a husband. And even though him and Melody is not married anymore, it does not mean that he still can't contribute that husband role, like being a provider to her. He can still help pay the bills. He also that being a good father to the children. He can still take care of the children financially, even with such a significant loss. Marital has not submitted himself in the marriage or outside the marriage. He has not done so, and this is the reason why he is in the place in which he is in. So all of us, me, you, every one of us, we all at some point have to realize when we're making more we're doing more harm than help to ourselves. When you continuously keep losing, everything you keep trying, every time you try to make things go your way and it doesn't, every avenue you try to take, there's a roadblock. It comes a point in which you have to humble yourself and say, God, please tell me, what do I need to do? Because I've been trying to step ahead of you. I've been trying to step over you. I've been trying to move past you. And everything that I have done without your guidance, I just keep approaching a dead end road. I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm not getting anywhere. Marital has yet to come to that space. Instead, he keeps doing the opposite. He keeps thinking that the more I keep damaging male, going after male, eventually things are going to break for me. Not realizing until he does the opposite, meaning remove himself from male. Stop trying to complicate her life. Stop trying to make her miserable. Stop bashing her with your succubus. Things are, your blessings are never going to manifest. He has not gotten to that place yet. However, let me U-turn and get to the subject at hand, but I had to share that with y'all. Because he has not allowed the spirit of discernment and God to lead him as a married man, it has resulted in Marital being very reckless. Very reckless with his marriage, very reckless with his lust, and reckless with his penis. And because of that, unfortunately, a child was created. Now, I would also like to address this as well. Ariane, this was not her first time getting pregnant by Marital. One would think after having her first child, she was already a single mother before she met Marital. Seeing how that did not pan out for her, where she ended up without the father, without Paris's father, one would think her first encounter, her first experience would have taught her better not to get herself involved in this type of situation again, even more so with a married man at that. So, the succubus and the incubus, both got together and continued to build this demonic connection amongst one another. Neither one had no more sense than the other. Marital obviously did not feel it was important to protect himself and protect his marriage. Least he could have did was wear a condom. Main thing was he should have not even been involved with Ariane, period. But the least he could have done was protected himself, because he could have caught more than just a child. He could have brought home an STD to his wife, damaging her life, well, ex-wife now, damaging her life to where she would have to be on medication for the rest of her life because of him. It has happened. There's been some women who have received things far worse than a child. They have received AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, STDs that's going to be with them till the day that they die. And these were women who did not step outside of their household. And it's very unfortunate that you have women who are faithful, who have not done wrong, who haven't been perfect, but for the most part, been good wives. And because their husbands lacked discipline and did not respect and honor his vows as a husband, they jeopardized their household and their marriage by bringing home a sexually transmitted disease to their significant other. Some women also have not been able to conceive children. Certain STDs, especially if you get it from a man, can damage your chances of being able to conceive. It's a lot of women who cannot have children because of an STD that that was transmitted to them by their unfaithful partner. All of this has happened, but in this case, a child was conceived. So, Ariane had plenty of times. She had plenty of warnings not to get pregnant from Marital. He paid for a couple of her abortions. Marital himself also evidently didn't want any children from her, which is why he was paying for the abortions. But along the way, both of these two got way too comfortable. So comfortable to the point that not once, not twice, may not even 3-4 times, but they have finally conceived little Helmet. Now, I know a lot of subscribers, y'all get very offended when I talk about little Helmet. When I talk about what's the other name I call him? I used to call him Little Radio when I first started addressing, issues amongst Air Mattress and Marital. I've heard some content creators call him Little Chucky. I also call him Screaming Demon. And, a lot of you women, y'all get offended. Y'all get very, very offended. It's been me, like other content creators, who have labeled the child a bastard. A lot of y'all got very offended by that, even though that word is clearly in the Bible. About a bastard child, a child that has been born outside of a marriage. Unfortunately, Little Helmet is a bastard child. That's the bottom line. Get mad at me, but that's what the Bible labels him as such. Both his parents was not married. Now, legally wise, he was considered an illegitimate child, meaning that he was born between two individuals. One was married and the other one was unmarried. Regardless of what, when a child is brought into this world because of two irresponsible, reckless individuals, what they don't understand is that they have created a whole additional problem. Now, when a man and a woman have been participating in sexual relations and one or both was married, even though it defiles the bedroom, but it stands a better chance of having some type of reconciliation. But and the thing about it is, it's just those two individuals. It's just between those two individuals to work it out, repair it, or let it go if they don't see there's any chances of reconciliation. But when there's a child involved, it only complicates and aggravates the situation far worse, because if there was a possibility that you could still sustain your marriage, you are going to have to deal with this third individual, which is the mother of the child, for the rest of your life, until something happens to you, until something happens to that child or their mom, whatever. A lot of men don't think about things like this. They don't think about once you conceive a child outside of your marriage from another woman, they can't even fathom the psychological, emotional, and mental toll that it takes on their significant other. I remember on the episode when Mel was talking to Mammy Marlene about Martell's, outside child to his mother. And I remember how that mother defended him and basically said, that I'm going to love him just like I love the rest of my grandchildren. She absolutely had no remorse for Melody's pain. She didn't say, you know what, I hate that my son took you through this. I hate that you got to deal with this kind of pain. My heart my heart goes out to you because my son was wrong. How dare he, disrespect his vows and create another child for me to have to accept as his grandchild. Now, if she would have wanted to accept it, I mean, that's her personal business. But the fact that she was so unremorseful about it. And then Mel was like, well, what is she having, a boy or a girl? And I remember Mammy Marlene happily said she's having a boy. So it just goes to show that a lot of these men are not prepared for the detriment that comes behind having a child from a succubus. So, like any other woman, it took an emotional toll on Melody. You know, even though I'm sure she's always had to put up this persona that I'm strong, I'm a woman about it, I can handle anything thrown my way. Only a woman who has experienced that kind of pain can tell you it is no joke. It's not something you would wish on your own worst enemy. And you know, it's easy for everybody to judge and say, well, if that happened to me, I wouldn't have been there. If that happened to me, I'm divorcing him, I'm happy. Listen, a lot of times you don't know your own strength until you got to use it. Anybody could talk the talk, but when it gets down to walking the walk, you know, you don't really know what you're capable of dealing with or not dealing with. And I commend the women who are zero tolerance, who will not by any means even reconsider staying in a relationship with a man who has conceived a child outside of his marriage. I totally get that. Because it's too much, it's too overwhelming. To know that as you accept this child, that every time they come around, that's going to be a reminder that child is a symbol of the destruction that took place within the marriage. You know, so it's only right for some women to absolutely be against trying to work on their marriage, or trying to rebuild a marriage, especially when a child has been involved and conceived. So I get it. But I also understand the women, you know, who decided to stay and work it out. Different strokes for different folks. You have some men who have learned, and unfortunately it took them doing something really, really ugly and disrespectful in order for them to come to the realization that, you know what, I'm my own worst enemy. I got to better myself as a man. Sometimes you don't see yourself for yourself until you bring destruction upon yourself. That is when you really see how messed up of an individual you are. That's if you are the kind of man or woman who has some type of sense of accountability. Now, for ones like Marital, he would never feel that he was wrong. He didn't feel like he was wrong then, and he don't feel like he's wrong now. You have some that's going to be strong and wrong all day long. No, he wrong, but he gonna stand strong in it and act like he really didn't do nothing that bad. But whether he want to admit it or not, the proof is in the pudding, because we're seeing things spiral and go down for him. So he don't never have to admit if he's remorseful or not remorseful, because the proof is in the pudding. But getting back to the steak and potatoes at hand, what is the psychological and spiritual effect that the succubus and incubus child is going to have to endure? How does the actions of the incubus and succubus, how does it affect the child that was conceived between the both of them? First of all, let's start with the spiritual standpoint. Now, like many of you, I notice y'all been noticing that it seems as if Little Helmet is a little different. Respectfully, anything I say in this content is alleged, is based off of my personal opinion. Nothing I say is valid, is facts. It's strictly just me giving my own perspective from a spiritual and logical standpoint. Everything is based off opinion. This is my disclaimer. I'm sure a lot of y'all noticed that Little Helmet is special. He's different from the Eminem children, okay? He's different. Even physically wise, you can tell there is something slightly off. Okay? And for those of you who cannot take me talking about other people's children, just exit the stage gracefully, because I'm going to talk about them. Because some of y'all probably got little helmets y'all damn self. That's why y'all take it so personal. Y'all get offended when people talk about Arian's bastard child, because a lot of y'all got bastard children. So it's like picking out a sword whenever you bring up a child, especially an illegitimate child. Because there's a lot of women out here who done pulled the Arian air mattress. It's a lot of babies that was conceived from married men, babies that was conceived from broke down men. It's a lot of it's a lot of side chicks out here who don't have babies from married men. So whenever you call their children a bastard child, they take it very personal. You get offended. Leave the kids out of this. The children are innocent. Well, somebody should have told Marital and Arian that. Somebody should have told them to wear a condom, for to give them some birth control, because they don't need an innocent child conceived in its chaos. But because mommy and daddy is stupid, we have to address Lil Helmet, because he was conceived and born through the both of them. Like as I stated, Lil Helmet is different. He's different in his speech. He's different in his behavior. He's different, like I said, physically. It looks like there's a little slight mild case of I don't want to say deformity, but it looks like he has a mild case of being a little off. It may be more of a mental thing than physical, but nevertheless, he's nothing like Mel's children. And there's a reason for that. What a lot of men have to understand, and women, you know, our DNAs are not always compatible with other people's DNAs. As a mother, a lot of women don't understand that you take a high risk, you take a big gamble when you conceive and have children from men who you don't know very well. Even worse, married men at that. Everybody's DNA is not equally compatible. If you think about it, animals have more common sense than human beings. You're not going to see a pig trying to mate with a horse. Think about your last time you went to the zoo or you went to go visit a farm. You didn't see a farm animal mate with a farm animal that they wasn't compatible with. You're not going to see a cow try to mate with a horse. You're not going to see a lamb trying to mate, you know, with the pig. You're just not going to see animals mating with a whole nother species, because even animals have enough sense to know we're not compatible. You're only going to see dogs, for the most part, try to hump other dogs. Rarely are you going to see a dog try to hump a snake. You're not going to see a dog trying to hump a giraffe. Even animals have enough sense to know that they're not equally yoked or equally matched with someone. So they're not going to attempt to try to mate with the complete opposite. However, when it comes to lust, and when it comes to being led by the flesh, you will lack discretion and not being able to understand that there's just certain people you should not mate with. Some people come from families with mental illnesses, with dysfunction, with psychological issues. Based off of what we've seen, Marital's whole character, his attitude, his demeanor, Arian's character, her demeanor, her lack of wisdom, between the both of them, what was the chances of which Lil Helmet was going to come here straight? I mean, look out for what it is. I don't want to hear, no, he's just a child, he's innocent. Yes, he is innocent, but the problem is the parents who created him is not. Okay? looking at Arion and Marital, between the both of them, who really thought for a second that what the character traits with their little helmet, it was bound to be a part of him. First of all, Little Helmet was not conceived in love. He was conceived in lust. Secondly, both of his parents have some dysfunctional character traits. So, Little Helmet was bound to have issues. And not only biologically, talking about genetics, talking about DNA, talking about chromosomes and all of this, the biological part. Not only has he adopted biologically the DNA and chromosomes between Air Mattress and Marital, most importantly, he has been conceived through an incubus and a succubus. So therefore, he has two unholy, ungodly spirits within him. A lot of people want to call it autism and want to call it other names they got for it. But yes, biologically, health wise, if we're talking about being psychologically diagnosed, medically, he very well could be that. But spiritually, we know he also has the spirit of the incubus and a succubus. He has both. Because you have to realize, like I told y'all in my last content, when a succubus and an incubus get together, they have an energy transfer. So that same energy, that same spirit that was exchanged between Arion the succubus and Marital the incubus, keep in mind that child has been conceived with both of those spirits within him. So why is he screaming and making all of that noise? Look at who his parents are. Why he's having trouble communicating, being able to articulate himself at his age, when I've seen 2-year-olds speak perfectly fine, perfectly clear. A lot of that, well, his mama and daddy, the incubus and succubus, they have communication issues. They're not very well at comprehending people that are highly intelligent. They can't hold a dialogue very long with people who are exceptionally intelligent. So we look at Little Helmet. We see him, being a little screaming demon that he is. We've seen him being highly active. He cannot stay in the same spot too long. Well, that's Arion. That's his mama and his daddy. Arion has never stayed in the same spot long. She's always on the scene, always in the streets, always trying to, be on the up and up, and ain't getting up and ain't doing nothing. And same thing with his father. Little Helmet's father, Marital, is always trying to be on the scene. He's always in the streets. He's always been everywhere but where he should have been, which was at home with his goddamn wife and his children. So therefore, Little Helmet has that same issue. That's why he cannot stand still. His parents never sat still. That's how they met each other. Because both of them was in the streets. Both of them was hole strolling. And that is how they encountered one another. Basically, that child is going to be carrying two. This is one of the reasons why you're going to see this little boy acting really strange, doing, unexpected outburst. Like I said, not able to sit still. All of this has everything to do with, you have to realize everybody's DNA is not compatible. That's why it's very important that you are very choosy and selective about who you choose to breed your seed. It's very imperative that you learn that person's other side of the family. You have to look at the makeup of Marital's background, from his alcoholic mother. Marital, the mammy, criminal behavior also runs very heavily through Marital's family. As far as Ariane, I don't think she has the most stable background either. We do know that her mother indeed also was involved with a married man. So both of these individuals come from unstable families. So little Helmet is going to have a lot of unstable issues, and that's the reason why I call him Helmet, because you have to realize that certain psychiatric facilities and some of these correctional facilities, they'll put a helmet on an individual's head that cannot control his or her behavior, cannot control their outburst. And that's the reason why they have to wear a helmet, because not only are they capable of hurting others, but they'll hurt themselves. When they have outbursts, they don't have a certain way, a certain place, a certain time on when they do it. So they have to wear helmets. And this child, it gives me the sense of Ariane and Marital have to really be very attentive to him when he's in public. I know a couple of people when he first, started I know a lot of people was thinking there was favoritism, basically, because when Little Helmet was first born, it seemed like Marital had him all the time. He was always sitting on Marital's lap. He was always, seems like Marital always had him, versus the other kid's sugar mama. And the reason for that was because you have to realize, the spirit that little boy carries is very unpredictable, like his mother, like his father. They're crash dummies. They're unpredictable individuals. You never know when they're going to come up with some crazy outlandish things. They have no discipline. We've seen Marital out the blue try to come at Mel to try to harm her, try to tear her down. And we know Ariane is very unpredictable too. She'll come on live, she'll try to come at Melody. But both of them are very unpredictable individuals. That is the same way with their son. Keep in mind that they don't know when he's going to act out, when he's going to scream. They can't predict his behavior. So at times you're going to see Marital hold him. They know he's very busy, like I noticed in that video. When she caught herself going live and Marital was bragging on her great value chicken Alfredo. And this was when they first caught themselves really trying to come out and acknowledge they are together. But Marital will always be public with Ariane, but he's never going to really claim her the way she wants to be claimed. But anyway, she's so desperate, he don't have to claim her. You know what I mean? In his last episode with Tasha K, when Marital said she's not the side chick, she's his other woman, she was thrilled about that. So, Marital will always be in there regardless, as long as it's claiming her in some shape or form. So, to the point that I was making is that you have to realize, when Marital was playing with him and helping him do flips and stuff, because when you have a child like that's very overly hyperactive, by nature kids are active, but their little boy, he's hyperactive, extremely active. He takes hyperactivity to another level compared to the average child. All kids get excited, all kids like to play, but Little Helmet has a more extreme case of that, of being overly hyperactive. So what they have to do is they have to play with him. I can tell Marital was playing it off and helping him do the flips in the background, trying to play it off like, oh, you're going to do the flips? Oh, you're going to, he was trying to play along with him, because if Little Helmet starts doing flips and crazy stuff by himself. He starts to look crazy. He starts to look like something is wrong with him. You have some parents that's like that. They know they may have a very troubled child that has issues. So, versus getting on them, stop doing them flips, stop doing that, stop, they'll play along with the child to keep the child subdued, to keep the child calm. Little Helmet is very overly hyperactive. I believe Marital and Ariana, they both are in denial that this little boy has issues. He has mental issues. You can tell there's a slight mild, I don't think it's an extreme case, and again, all of this is alleged. If you look at him facially wise, he looks a little facially challenged, and I say that respectfully. To all the mothers out there who have children that are facially challenged, my heart goes out to you, but the Eminem kids, they don't look facially challenged. They look like normal children. It's been a couple of pictures surfacing, floating around, and he looks a little, mildly facially challenged. Okay, his eyes looked a little stretched out a little bit. He just looks like something is off. Okay, I can't explain it any deeper than that. He does not look right. Okay, not to say that he's an ugly little boy, but he looks like something is wrong with him. He acts like something is wrong with him. You have to realize he has inherited 2 demonic spirits, his mother and his father. So it's only natural for him to have issues, and it's not his fault. He cannot control what he looks like, how he behaves. You have to realize when a child has been created through 2 lustful individuals, it taints that child's DNA. And I think that's pretty much what's kind of going on with him. And as he gets older, it's going to stand out even more. And I think as he gets older, I believe Ariana and Marital, they're going to keep overlooking it. They're going to make excuses for it. Like a couple of times Ariana would say, oh, I know they think my son is slow. Dear, he is. He has a delay somewhere. He's not speaking clearly yet. He should be speaking. I've listened to 2-year-olds that can hold clear, articulate conversations. If you notice Sugar Mama, him and Sugar Mama are not that far apart. And they have the same dad. Totally different children. It just goes to show you, everybody does not have compatible DNA. If you have your child from a man who has issues, his family is crazy, his mama bipolar, his daddy schizophrenic, and you see your child acting out in ways in which that's not normal to you, because you did not act out in those ways when you were born. It may have everything to do with your DNA. Everybody should not listen. Everybody is not supposed to create a child together. Period. Point blank. I can't be no more respectful than that. Everybody don't need to have children together. Okay, everybody's not spiritually compatible. Everybody's not equally yoked, and therefore the child will come here with struggles and issues. You have some children who come here, and it's not to say married people don't have children with issues. Don't have children with autism. It happens. But when you have 2 parents who are unequally yoked spiritually, that child is definitely going to have problems. At least through marriage, that child will have some type of covenant, through the mother and the father. But it's going to be very hard for Marital and Ariana to give this little boy all the help he needs, because for one, both of them are in denial that their child has a delay. So therefore, neither one of them is going to make the effort in making sure he's getting all the psychological help and mental evaluation so they can correct it before he develops and get much older. Both his parents don't see it. For one, they don't even think nothing is wrong with them. So the chances of them trying to help their child get some type of psychiatric evaluation, both of them need to be psychologically evaluated, and they're not going to get any help. So parents can't give their children something that they're not willing to give themselves. You feel me? So that's the issue with that. As Little Helmet gets older, what's going to happen is he's going to become familiar with how he got here. He's going to be reminded of it. The world is pretty cruel at times, Teachers are going to be aware of it, especially if he's still being born and raised in Hinesville. And I really don't think those two are going to branch out and go anywhere else. I think Marital and Ariana is going to be pretty confined themselves to Hinesville. I don't think they have what it takes to branch out and travel and go other places and try to grow. Not only that, even if they were to move, I really don't think neither one of them are capable of doing any more than what they're able to do. So they don't have that business brain like Melody. Melody will always be able to travel and make moves. I just don't see it for Ariana, Air Mattress, and I don't see it for Motel. I don't see it for neither one of them. I don't see it for Motel 6. I don't see it for him. What's the ladder for Motel 6? Lights be on. I don't think the lights be on. I don't think the lights be on for Marital. For Motel 6. That's what I'm calling his ass, Motel 6. So, he's going to have issues. He's going to be treated different. And he's not going to understand that. And the reason he's going to be treated different is going to have everything to do with how his parents, the negative publicity that's surrounding his parents. So as he gets older, people are going to know him for how he got here. That's not going to be his fault. Again, Motel 6 and Ariana Air Mattress, they produced that seed, and the fact that they were so ornery and their wrongdoing, unfortunately, is going to backfire. It's going to become a domino effect on their son, who did not ask to be here. Okay? So psychologically, he's going to go through because he's going to be judged because of who his parents are. Okay? So that's going to be the first thing Lloyd Helmet is going to be up against. Secondly, he's going to notice that his half siblings, because unfortunately they are, brothers and sisters. He's related to the Eminem children. Only because, he has the same DNA, to share the same bloodline as Marital. Okay? So, those are his siblings, alright? As he gets older, he's going to notice a difference. A lot of outside children, very rarely are they ever privileged with the things that the children from the husband and wife are privileged to. There are some rare instances in which sometimes the outside, the succubus, incubus child is accepted. And that was more so back in the day. Back in the day, Big Mama, all the nanas, we knew Granddaddy Freddie or Granddaddy Willie had all type of outside children, okay? But back in the day, women was a little bit more receptive, was not as reluctant to accepting their husband's outside children because everybody stayed in their lane. Back then, women did not feel, and you got some women who feel that way today. They just don't feel like a child should suffer because of two irresponsible adults' actions. You got some women who don't have a problem with that today. There are some women who have accepted and welcomed their child, their husband's mistress child, air mattress child from another air mattress airhead. Some women have accepted it. Not many, but some have. Okay? Losing my train of thought. Unfortunately, in this case, Mel is not going to accept the incubus son, the incubus and succubus son. Mel is not going to accept Incubus Jr. And is she wrong for that? Is Melody wrong for not accepting the innocent incubus child? Absolutely not. Nope, the side chicks. When you decide to not protect your body from these married men who obviously don't respect their wives, so the fact of the audacity of you believing that once you have a child, your child is going to be accepted and respected off the merit that this man did not even respect his own wife, you totally deserve exactly what you get. Okay, because my thing is, you had no business dealing with somebody's husband, and if you was, the least you could have did was use some type of protection, and not even get a child involved in your demonic activities to begin with. But we know a lot of y'all side chicks, y'all lack spiritual discernment. So, and y'all got the succubus spirit. So I don't expect you to carry yourself no more than how you are. He's going to notice the difference. He's going to notice how, because unfortunately, Marital will still have access to his, to the M&M kids. Until they get older and really realize how their father has treated them, they may want absolutely nothing to do with them. But let's just face it, kids are very loyal to their no good fathers. And a lot of you moms out there can attest to this. Some kids still see their dads as kings, as prizes, even though he has dismantled the family, destroyed the family. A lot of these children, they worship the ground their deadbeat daddies walk on. They just do. Kids don't share the same emotions as mothers. Okay? Some do, but in some cases they don't. So basically, we know Marital is still going to be around and see the M&M. So what's going to happen is these kids are going to know about each other. M&M kids are going to know about Little Helmet. Little Helmet is going to know about M&M kids. He's going to notice the difference. He's going to see his siblings on magazines, traveling, going to upper echelon colleges, universities, traveling, going places. He's not going to have that same luxury because Ariana Air Mattress does not have that type of lifestyle. She can't provide that type of lifestyle for her Little Helmet, for her little innocent Incubus. She's not going to be able to provide that lifestyle, nor will Marital, because Marital cannot survive off of Melody's money. She been cut him from the umbilical cord, so he has to go out there and hustle. Basically, Ariana and Marital, Motel 6, they have to create a lifestyle for their son because he belongs to the both of them. And unfortunately, he's going to see as he gets older, M&M kids got nice clothes, got the newest, wardrobe, living in a big old beautiful home. He's going to hear about this. It's a lot of women in this type of situation. You may be married to a man and he may have a deadbeat baby mama who lets his child, looks like the child is from a third world country. A lot of women could relate to this. A lot of women are in relationships with men who have had children from previous relationships, and you upkeep your child better than his ex-wife or bitter baby mama upkeeps her child. That child comes around, notices the difference, and how your children are well groomed. That's how jealousy and envy starts to spark between children. Not understanding that all kids may have the same dad, but that don't mean they have the same mother. You got some women who got some mothers who put themselves first before their children. Their hair is done, their nails is done, they're in the club, wearing these tight dresses, trying to still catch a man, while the child is being kept by different family members, crusty nose, snotty nose, dirty socks. If he even got socks on, hair peasy. She drop him off, knowing he got a cold. Don't even leave a pack of goddamn Theraflu, Robitussin, nothing, but she in the club. Then you got other mothers like Mel, who is very hands-on, very active, wants their children to have the best, to look the best. And like I said, it's the scrappy-do kids that start hating on the well-groomed children. And again, this is the problems that's to come that Marital and Ariana have created for the little innocent Incubus, who did not ask to be here. Okay? He's going to know, why is my brother and my sisters, why they got on red bottoms, and it look like, we still living on the bottom. We still in the basement. Why I see my brother and my sisters, they live in a big old mansion, and we live in a tiny old house. He's going to start to notice the difference. But Marital and Ariana, 9 times out of 10, they're going to program that young man to be resentful of Melody and her children, because they are resentful of Melody and her children. Okay? They're not going to be honest to tell this young man. You have to realize, Miss Mel, because they're not going to teach him to respect who Melody is. Miss Mel, she makes a lot of money, so she's able to take care of your brother Tank and her and your sisters much better than we are. They're not going to say that. You know what they're going to do? They're going to be talking reckless about Mel around our little boy, and our little boy is going to hear every negative thing about Mel, and he's going to have a negative notion about Melody, to where he's not going to want to like Melody or respect Melody, and in turn that's going to trickle down to the children. This is what happens, and children that are created to the Incubus and Succubus, these children need way more love than the average child. Check this out, right? I had a friend way back in the day. Me and her are still cool. We just have not seen each other in years, right? And I remember she used to brag on her daughter a lot. And don't get me wrong, that was my friend, but it used to kind of annoy me, And when I first met her daughter was very beautiful. Beautiful daughter. Her daughter was half Arab and black, just totally stunning, very beautiful. And she had like 3 children. She had another daughter and another son. Now all of them at this time was over the age of like 17, right? And I know she would always particularly brag on her half Arab and black daughter. Always bragged about how smart she was, how successful she was, and all this and that. So, over time, when you start building a friendship with somebody, people start getting comfortable and they start letting you in on different things. And I remember she told me that her daughter was from a married man, and that he was Arab, and he had a lot of businesses. He had his own construction business, so I could tell it was like a money thing, which was the reason she was attracted to him, kind of like Air Mattress with Motel 6. And she used to work for him. She was like a secretary. And I guess, over time, one thing led to another, inappropriate actions went down, and she said that is how she conceived her daughter. Her daughter was conceived from a married man. And what happened was, he would never really acknowledge her daughter. He acknowledged her as far as giving her money for her, because my friend was very relentless. She was not one that you was not going to take care of her child. Kind of like Ariel, like, you going to acknowledge this, But she did it more so in an old school manner, in which she didn't blast him. She never confronted his wife. She just told him, hey, as long as you take care of me and give me what I need, hey, my mouth closed. And he did that. He was able to do that. He wasn't a build-a-bum like Motel 6. Most of the time, men with money can kind of get away with, being half-ass dads compared to broke baby dads, But anyway, so come to find out, it made sense why she was so overly protective of her daughter, because she knew in her heart that her daughter was never going to have the same privilege as her other sisters, and brother, because they wasn't conceived through married men, so their dads was more active in their life. Her half Arab and black daughter, I'm gonna just call her April. April was not granted that privilege because her dad was married. So my friend thought she could make up for the absence of April not having her father by putting her in the best schools, putting her in all type of school activities. That's why her daughter became academically so advanced. My friend T, I'm just call her T. My friend T put a lot into April, because she knew April was missing a very huge significant part of her life. Her father. Kids are not slow, they're not dumb. They know when their dad is not around. You're able to pick up the pieces when they're going to events, sports events. They got ballerina recital and see everybody daddy there, but their daddy not there. So what tends to happen? Women who put themselves in this type of situation, they got to overly compensate for that by doing the most, putting them in top-notch college, universities, putting them in all these activities, because it's that guilt of, I know I effed up by conceiving my child through this married man, so I got to go all out my way. Some women realize that they have to give that child way, way, way more love and attention, because that child is going to feel the difference. They're going to eventually pick up and know something is wrong. I'm not getting the same attention the other kids are getting. Only difference was, my T at the time, she never came for his wife. Like Arion would always come for Melody. She never did that. But see, that's where the old school women back in the day different from these young bras. These young bras wanted to be known. Yeah, your man is eating my ass and all this other stuff and everything. And if you're smart, if you're with a man that's getting money from his wife, you will be quiet and shut the hell up and hide so you could continue to keep getting our bread. She kept running her mouth, thinking, because a part of her wanted Melody to know. You know what I mean? But what she did was she cut herself and she cut Marital, because Marital no longer had access to Melody's money. If you're going to pimp a married man, at least be smart about it. Look at the loan. Look way down the road. Like, let me shut the hell up so I don't cut off my side chick benefits. Because if I run my mouth and tell his wife everything he spends and buys on me with her money, she is going to, she's going to cut off those side chick simping sponsor benefits. That's what happens. That's what happens when you so smart that you dumb. Back then, women knew to close their mouth, keep their mouth closed. And this is not to say I condone married men messing around. I am totally against it. But we know at the end of the day, we can't do any dick patrol. We can't do any penis patrolling, okay? A man going to do what he want to do with his own penis, regardless of what. But back then, older women were smart enough to shut up and not blast that man, because that wife find out, gonna take him to the divorce court, clean him of everything, and she can't get nothing. If you're gonna be a hoe, at least be good at it. Like my father would tell me, whatever you do, be good at it. I don't care if you a janitor. If you a janitor, you better clean them damn halls, mop them halls like nobody ever did. To where people would notice when you gone. Oh, Mr. Hall, he used to use the best pine saw. These hallways used to smell good when Mr. Hall was the janitor. Now that we got this new janitor, we don't smell like pine saw. Be good at what you do. Hoe or not. But this is what happens, Motel 6, when you so fixated on how a female look, you ain't looking at her damn brain. Ariana's brain damage. She was not smart enough to hold down the fort. Go ahead, boo, get the money. Let me shut the hell up and be quiet so you can keep making payments on this BMW that got 260,000 miles on it, and you can continue to keep paying this Section 8 rent that I'm never going to own. And if you're dealing with a man, get a house, something you gonna own eventually. That way, when the grits hit the fan, you straight, you secure. At least your house paid for, your car paid for. Even being a side chick, you have to have common sense with it. You got to be smart with it. A lot of them ain't smart with it, and Ariana done proved that. Anyway, but I don't want to coach or inspire succubus behavior, but I'm just saying. Incubus Jr. gonna notice something is different. And that's where Arion is gonna become a challenge for Arion and Marital. But we know those two, they're gonna lie. They're not gonna be honest and say that he's different because of how they brought him here. They're gonna lie and manipulate. But regardless of what, let me tell you who's gonna catch the most hell. They are. Because they won't share their truth with that little boy, and they probably won't give him the psychological help he needs, counseling or whatever. The hell that he goes through is going to be between the both of them. Melody doesn't have to deal with it with him. Them and them kids don't have to deal with it. So even though they may program this young man to be hateful and mean-spirited towards his siblings because they have more than his parents are able to give him, that's going to be part of Air Mattress and Marital's karma. They're going to have to live with that. Period, point blank. So, unfortunately, a child that's created from the incubus and the succubus, he's going to go through a lot of different stages in life. He's not going to understand why he's treated different, why he's the outsider, especially when you don't have, when you have parents that are both ignorant, selfish, and uneducated. He probably would have been he probably would have been able to grasp being an outside child if he had parents that was really parents, giving him the psychological help that he needs. If both of them was honest with him when he got old enough to understand mommy and daddy did wrong. Daddy was married, and I shouldn't have disrespected mommy, and I shouldn't have disrespected your mother, and I definitely shouldn't have disrespected my wife. You have to have that conversation. I've heard outside children be told the truth and be told that I messed up. It's not your fault that you here, but I was wrong. I was a married man. I stepped outside my marriage. I did wrong. I got to live with that. And you got to be honest. You got to be honest and humble yourself and let your children know you did wrong by how you got them here. But all this, I don't know why she treating you different. I don't know why your sisters and your siblings being so mean to you. You know the hell why. Y'all gonna have this little boy, little helmet round here, mean, mugging, disgusted. He gonna really be talking outside his head. He already kind of doing that. And he's not gonna be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Because y'all are not keeping it real. Y'all not keeping it 100 with him. But anyway, I'll go ahead and shut it down. Because I know I'm going to be over an hour and stuff. And everybody got short attention span. If I feel it's necessary, y'all know I'm going to do a part 2. If I feel I need to add more to the table or whatever, I will do that. If I feel like I left some significant points out. If y'all have any questions regarding the creation of the Incubus and Succubus child, put it in a comment. If I get a couple of questions that I feel need to be answered, I will do a part 2 on the Incubus and Succubus child. So definitely be on the lookout. If not, I got my other content that I'm going to be doing as well. So anyway, y'all, I so appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for sharing, subscribing. Thank y'all for coming over here to hang out in the lounge with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Please, before you leave, hit that like button. Just take a second to do that. It's real easy to forget to hit the likes. I know I'm guilty. I do it myself. But please look out for your girl. Hit that like button. Anybody who wants to donate to the movement, you're more than welcome. If you want to become a member, only $3 a month. If you choose not to become a member or donate, just continue to keep hanging out in the lounge. Keep hanging out with me. Keep vibing with me. And we'll do like we normally do. So anyway, y'all be blessed. Take care. Love y'all so much. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And y'all have a wonderful day.